Imagine that you alone controlled your income. No longer dependent on an employer, you could decide for yourself how best to contribute to society. The act of contributing your time would automatically generate the means to pay you for the hours that you work. In other words, new money would be created and deposited into your bank account every time you did something productive that benefits someone other than just yourself. No longer would you need to depend on someone else's money to pay you. You would simply pay yourself by doing. Currently, workers need the permission of someone who is willing to hire them to make their time commercially valuable. Without an employer, their talent and potential remains dormant. Employment opportunities are limited by the amount of money employers can afford to pay their staff. With the new system, however, workers pay themselves simply by the act of working. The employer no longer needs money of his own to make payroll. Labor hours are still a cost that go into the employer's final price of his product or service. But it is no longer an upfront cost to the employer. To the employee, nothing has changed. He still gets paid for the hours he works, plus benefits. The employer simply notifies his bank of the weekly hours worked by each employee. The bank then arranges the correct deposits and records the employer's use of labor hours into a credit journal. When the employer sells his product or service to a buyer, the buyer's bank account is reduced by the selling price, and the amount of labor hours in the employer's credit account is reduced by exactly the same amount. Now, suppose you get tired of working under someone else's control and decide to go into business for yourself. After consulting with a commercial real estate agent, you learn that a licensed restaurant is currently available in your area. The current operator wants to leave the city as soon as possible. The restaurant has a steady clientele and a good operating history. You agree to take over the operation after he provides you with a 1-week training period. While at the bank, you sign the agreement to be responsible for the credit account of the business. That's it. No money changes hands. There is no buyer or seller. The business operators simply switch. You notify your current employer of your plans, and you agree to stay until he can find a replacement for you. Your salary will not change. In both jobs, your salary is determined by the number of hours you contribute to the work. With this type of labor system, job opportunities will never be restricted by a shortage of money. Productive labor itself will create all of the money needed by society to fulfill its true potential. People will be free to develop their skill and talent as they see fit. Self-employed people and artists and professionals will need to set up a business credit account at their bank, but their income too will be self-generated by their work. Sales of their products and services will reduce their labor credits at the bank. This income system will remove the burden of upfront payroll costs to businesses and provide an unprecedented freedom of choice to all workers. Knowing that workers are now free to move on if they are mistreated, employers will be much more committed to employee satisfaction. What are we waiting for? Let's do this.